abortion issue. Now, I'm for the exceptions, like Ronald Reagan was for the exceptions, and I think it's very important to be
mother's life.
Correct, life of the mother. I think it's a very important thing, the exceptions. I also think that they are the radicals because they will kill the baby in 8 months, 9 months. Under Roe v. Wade, they had the right to kill the baby after birth. I mean, literally after birth in some cases. J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, my point is here.
But at least it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
In case you needed more proof, the MAGA is a cult full of brainwashed zombies following Donald Trump's every word.
You're saying that in California you can kill a newborn baby up to 4 weeks until after it's born?
Absolutely.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That's the law in the last year or two.
That is not true. That's not true.
You need to go do your research.
100% not true.
You need to do your research.
All right, let's do some research then. Well, would you look at that? Who could have guessed that infanticide has always been and is still, in fact, illegal in California, just like it is everywhere else? Took less than a minute to find out that the bill these MAGA dopes were talking about was falsely and maliciously interpreted by a conservative propaganda outlet called the Miami Standard, with the sole purpose of spreading this lie because the operators of these outlets know the base better than anyone and can convince these people to believe the most outlandish lies imaginable.
Where did you read that? Be honest.
National news media.
Post-birth abortion. Can you tell me where you read it?
It's been a while.
I've read it so many places I can't name them all, no.
It's hard to name them all right now.
This answer's really giving off this energy.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time.
Yeah, when you start late-term aborting children or aborting them after they've been born, that's nuts.
Aborting them after they've been born?
Yes.
You think that's happening?
It is. It does.
I don't think that's happening.
Well,
aborting children after they're born wouldn't be called abortion, though, right?
Well, they still call it abortion.
What would they? That would be called murder.
Well, not according to the left.
This could not be further from the truth. Literally no one on the so-called left is advocating for this, or else we wouldn't be so critical and disgusted by these Israeli state's atrocities committed against the Pali people. This entire narrative only serves to further demonize the Dems and the lefts, so the conservatives and Republicans can posture as the morally righteous party while playing into the Christian fundamentalist bloc of the party.
I don't think that abortions are happening after babies are born.
Why don't you look into it? That's the whole thing. You have to study out the issues and see what's really happening.
Could I ask where you read it?
You see a lot of propaganda, and it's getting harder and harder with AI for you to be able to determine what's true and what's not.
I agree.
And it's going to get a lot harder.
Do you think that what you read could have been propaganda?
Not if you study the facts out.
While it's all well and good to poke fun and goof on these clowns, we sadly have to take these people seriously. Not only because they're more than willing to spread whatever lies and misinformation they've seen online without question, but also because they vote in every single election they possibly can. meaning that the anti-women's healthcare voting bloc is and will continue to be a power segment of the Republican Party that will not back down from restricting reproductive rights as a platform of the party. This also means that this false narrative won't just go away once Trump is no longer the party's leader.
So I said I'm pro-life. I will be a pro-life president. And we will support pro-life policies. At the same time, I look at what's going on in the Congress, and I don't see them making very much headway. I think the danger from Congress is if we lose the election, they're going to try to nationalize abortion up until the moment of birth. And in some liberal states, you actually have post-birth abortions. And I think that that's wrong.
Future presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis has been one of the most rabid anti-reproductive rights Republican governors in the country, with a 6-week abortion ban just taking effect in the state a few months ago. And there are plenty of voters who are out there willing to do the work on the ground to limit reproductive rights as much as possible.
What do you think is going to happen with Donald Trump getting back some of the women who left last time and the hurdles that the change in reproductive rights and those laws have put into play?
Sure. I don't think women want to be lied to. I think he brings transparency to the table. I mean, local leadership is what came out of the Supreme Court decision. Here in New Hampshire, we came up with something that worked for the voters here in our state. It's not necessarily going to be the state throughout the country, but I think that's part of the beauty of that decision is that if you are not comfortable with local decisions made in your state, you can move out. Same with taxes and other local issues too. You can obviously move to different areas in the country, based off if you want to be in an area that provides a certain opportunity that maybe you can't get in your home state.
And we see there's a shift in this country with our elected officials. We're electing more conservative officials in each state, and many states are going to have a complete and all-out ban on abortion. Some of them already have passed legislation for there to be a ban at 6 weeks. And that's by the time most women find out that they're pregnant anyway. It's murder. It's what's called infanticide, which is a genocide in this country of infants. It's the same thing that's going on in Armenia. I'm a missionary over there. They've aborted 20% of their population last year. 20% of all pregnancies ended in abortion last year. So I'm fighting that in Armenia as well. I'm a missionary over there and just saw what's going on with the genocide there. Everyone's talking about Israel and everyone's talking about Palestine and this conflict there, but no one's giving any attention to the fact that 100,000 Christians were just exiled from their own land in Artsakh, and all these churches are being turned into mosques.
A woman's right to choose, is that important to you?
Yes.
Donald Trump doesn't believe in a woman's right to choose.
Okay, but there are certain cases where I believe that a woman should be able to choose, but there are also certain cases where, that is a child inside of a woman's body. So I'm stand for both, but it's...
So Governor Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, who's running for the Republican nomination, says there should be no abortions after 6 weeks. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with that.
So a woman should not have the right to get an abortion if she's 7-8 weeks pregnant. She may not even know she's pregnant at that point.
I believe that most likely she will know at that point, but if she doesn't, of course, baby has been growing inside of her for 6 weeks, so it's, you'd be killing someone if you did an abortion.
It doesn't have a heartbeat, though, until longer, so it's not like it's killing a person, right?
I still believe that it's killing a person, because that is still a human being inside. No, doesn't matter if they have a heartbeat or anything, there's still fetus growing inside of someone, and that mom is still going through many symptoms and, her trimester symptoms to, carry that baby, whether they have a heartbeat or not.
What about once a child is born? Since you believe very strongly in life, you believe in protecting life once a child is born?
What was that?
Once a child is born, should our society, should our government do more to protect kids after they're born? Or should a child or a baby be totally on its own with their family and no government help?
It depends on the circumstance. Again, it's if a parent decides that they become a parent, they should be responsible for taking care of that child. Of course, there are certain circumstances where teen moms, single single parent families who, you know, I believe that they could use some assistance, but for the most part, you know, it's like they're choosing to become parents, and they should.
But it's not the child's fault if they're born to a parent who can't take care of that child or can't feed that child. It's not the child's fault, right? So shouldn't our government at that point step in and try to help?
Yes and no. That's just what I believe.